Last year our shakedown programme got a bit bogged down in Milford Haven. This year we were determined not to be overawed by the sometimes huge Atlantic swells on this coast. So we made a break for Ireland at the first opportunity. Turns out we had to battle a whole day of unpleasant swells anyway. We made a mistake in not getting our sails up before we left Milford Haven, but I discovered our gearbox was still leaking oil just before we left, and I thought we may well have to turn back. It turned out to be a loose oil cooler hose which I discovered and repaired after we arrived in Ireland. But it was an unwelcome preoccupation as we surfed down the big swells at up to 11 knots.
West or southwest 4 to 6. Veering west or northwest 3 to 5 meter. Slight or moderate. Occasional rain or drizzle. Moderate or good. Occasionally full.
On the plus side, we got an unexpected opportunity to really push Josefine, and our confidence was equally boosted by the ease with which she handled herself. We arrived after dark and were met by Uta and Brian, which was lovely. I taught Uta to fly in France about 20 years ago and haven't seen her since. Welcome to Wicklow. Wicklow has a great harbour. The moorings are on the harbour wall. €15 a night, irrespective of boat size, and at the moment the fees go to the RLNI, so a win-win for everyone. I thoroughly recommend it. There is also a small commercial dock, a lovely town, and some delightful pretty corners everywhere. Here we are in the centre of Wicklow High Street, as it were. So lovely high street. We're going out to eat this evening with our friends Uta and Brian, so we're going to buy some of those lovely cakes there. So lovely bakers. Love the sense of colour they have here. It's quite unique. As far as I can tell, it's got pretty much everything you'd want in a high street. One thing that I quickly learned about the Irish Sea, if the Irish are not messing about on it, they're throwing themselves into it. Fantastic to see all these children and adults alike enjoying their coastal facilities, not a mobile phone in sight. Wicklow even has this lovely sauna garden right on the seafront. Brilliant. And of course, Wicklow has the beach where St. Patrick made landfall. I am aware that others have claimed this honour. I'm just saying what I've heard. I have been wanting to do this for a very long time. My days of throwing myself off the rigging probably long gone, but at least I can do this. And it really is lovely. I am on this little beach, Wicklow just behind me, and a lovely view. And the last person to stand in this very spot was St. Patrick and his monks in the year 432, when they came ashore here, attacked by locals, and one of his monks got his teeth knocked out, and from that came the name of Wicklow. And that's the short story. But it really is lovely here. Beautiful day, lovely coast, and lovely cool feet.
No, I am. It's fine, you know.
We do our best, yes.
Hi everybody, Randy and I are being walked up Carrick Mountain by our very good friend Brian, who's there, steaming away ahead.
We'll do a wave in the distance, yeah.
And we've just got halfway up. We're going to go to the top and see the view, and it is a fantastic view, as you can see there. That's the sea in the distance, and Josefine is somewhere down there. That's the Wicklow Harbour down there, I think just to the right of that little clump of trees. So absolutely lovely up here, and Randy and I are getting some real exercise for a change. So I'll see if I give you a nice view from the top if we ever make it.
The dog used to love that, going back and forwards.
Left him out a lot once. Glendalough, a 6th century monastic city founded by St. Kevin, which became one of the most famous religious centres in Europe. Well, good morning everybody. It's, what time is it? 7 o'clock. We'll be going in a minute. It's 7 a.m. It's a lovely morning. Not a lot of wind. We did really want to do a bit of sailing today, but actually it's very light winds. We didn't get away yesterday when the wind was much better for sailing. Sorry, I'm just going to pull the boat in while I'm talking to you. Oh! We were supposed to leave yesterday, which was a much better day for sailing, but we went out in the evening to have a final meal with our friends Uta and Brian, and we're sort of late getting back, and the day hadn't been brilliant anyway, in the sense that I hadn't got half the things done that I wanted to get done. So we thought, oh, what the hell, we're not in a rush. So we decided to go today instead of yesterday. So today, much calmer, but you know, it means that we won't be able to sail because, well, we might, you never know, we might pick up later on. So we'll see. So we're on our way north. We're going to be passing Dublin. We won't be going into Dublin. We'll have to sadly bypass them, but there are some really nice anchorages up there, so I'm told. So we're going to find that out today, and that will get us halfway, or somewhere around about halfway, to our ultimate destination, which is Strangford Lough. I'll show you that on a map now. I think it's probably the most protected anchorage along this part of the coast anyway, and should give us an opportunity to lay up for a week and just relax a little bit before we continue on up to Northern Ireland and Scotland. That's our, in the coming month, that's where we're going the next 1, 2, 3 or 4 weeks. So that's what we're doing now. Anyway, I'm just going to jump off and show. I've got to go up and see a chap called Pat. He's the artist that does these paintings, murals of ships that have some significance to this harbour, either because they've visited here. Well, I think all of them have actually visited here. Some have more significance than others, and he's been doing that for about 50 years, I think. So they've been around a long time, and he's up there now finishing off Josefine's picture. So we're now on the wall of Wicklow Harbour, which is fantastic. Great privilege. Anyway, I'm just going to walk down and have a quick chat with Pat, take you with me of course, and we'll have a look and see how he's got on with our painting. I say our painting of Josephine. And here's the man himself, Pat.
Good morning. Happy New.
There's the mighty Josephine.
Yes, it's in progress.
It's in progress. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's working out okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic, Pat. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed your stay here.
Oh, not half. Yeah.
Yeah. We will remember you.
We have to come back. Pat, I should say, is retired. He was the postmaster here for
postman.
Postman.
Yeah.
Sorry, postman.
Yeah.
Or postmaster, postman for very many years here, and but he now works harder than he did when he was a postman, I think, don't you, Pat?
Yes.
I mean, more hours anyway up here.
Yeah, I'm nearly retired 3 years now
Right.
at this stage. In the newer pictures that I'm doing, I actually sign them. So when
Right.
this is finished, I will
Superb.
sign them. So,
Brilliant.
it will eventually go up with
Okay.
a history of the ship and
Okay.
and its
Oh, that's
relationship with the
fantastic.
port.
That's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, Pat, we're going to push off.
Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Really nice. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
It's
so-
been fantastic,
yeah.
you know, and we're honoured to be on your wall.
Yeah.
You know, who
Yeah.
wouldn't be?
Well, you know, it's nice because my whole principle behind it is that I'm an outdoor, nutcase maybe, I don't know, but I'm an outdoor artist. We're going to miss you now when you're gone.
Yeah, we're going to miss you too.
Yeah, and
Won't
you
be
know,
the same.
yes,
Yeah, that's brilliant.
okay.
Thank you, Pat.
I just keep an eye on
Yes.
you're about.
It'd be about 8, okay?
I've set my alarm for 7:45.
Okay.
So I'll be
Okay.
on red alert.
All right, Pat. Bye. Oh, Pat, he's great. He's been a big part of the. I think we've been here about 8, 9, 10 days. I think he's a very central figure in Wicklow, certainly down here at the docks. Anyway, seems to know everyone. I suppose he would as a postman, but yeah, he's a lovely guy. So there we go. Final pictures of Josephine along the wall at Wicklow. I'll get started now. Get that engine on. This is a bit where we have to climb down. It's actually really good, the facilities here. I mean, they're robust. You know, the ladder's fantastic, and the wooden fender either side for your fenders to lean up against. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. I don't think I've been in a harbour before where there's such an easy access to the boats. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Right. I'm going to have to turn you off now while I concentrate on getting things ready to go. So we'll catch you later, probably when we're outside the harbour and on our way up towards Dublin. See you in a bit. So the beautiful coastline between Wicklow and Dublin, and we're just settling into our daily routine. Randy is down below making coffee. There's absolutely no wind, look. We really wanted to sail, but you can see there will be no point putting the sails up. They'd be more of a nuisance if we put them up now. They'd just be slatting around. We love to stop in at some of these places here. I think that's Greystones over there. And there are some really nice harbours down here. What would have been lovely harbours to visit once, but now they've been taken over by marinas. So they're inaccessible to us. I mean, to be fair, the marinas probably make all of these little harbours a lot more accessible to the vast majority of sailors, because the marina facilities probably have floating pontoons and things like that, electric and water, which the original harbour didn't have. But for the minority of people like Randy and I, they're a pain in the arse because they just put the cost so high that we can't go anywhere near them. And so we can't visit all those lovely towns and villages along the coast, and that's a bit of a frustration, I'll be honest with you, because I'd dearly love to visit some of these places, but there you go, that's how it is. €100 a night, that's never going to happen. So we're looking at anchorages, and a lot of the anchorages, by the way, have disappeared as well. And similarly, our sort of sympathies, they've been turned into mooring fields, and for the vast majority of sailors, that's what people want, so you can't really argue with it. But it does mean that not only the harbours have been vastly reduced access for people like us, but so are the anchorages have been vastly reduced, because obviously mooring fields are put in prime anchorage sort of waters, So yeah, that's a little bit of frustration, but there are, between here and our goal at Strangford Lock, there are 3 or 4 potentially good anchorages. I've got the pilot guide and I've read that. Whether they will turn out that way, I don't know. The first one's at Howth, which is really Dublin. It's just north of Dublin. Literally a couple of miles. And there's an island there called Island's Eye, I think it's called. And there's one anchorage there. There's then Lumbey Island, which is another couple of hours further north. That one has some attraction in the sense that I think there are 3 bays around the island, and so you should be able to deal with different types of wind directions there to a degree. But again, it's probably not going to take us far enough on our journey. So I think the third one, which is a place called the Skerries, that's the one we're ultimately really aiming at. The wind is due to I'm keeping an eye on the flags, because the wind is due to increase. You can see the ripples on the water, you can see there's a little bit of a breeze now. So if that gets up a little bit more, I think the next time I talk to you, hopefully we'll be in the middle of putting up the sails. You never know. Talk to you in a bit.
Station, this is North Coast Guard. For the maritime safety information.
See, our flag's showing practically nothing, but it's showing a good direction. The forecast is for it to increase. So because the forecast is rising, it's worth trying this. Well, hello again. It's 35 minutes ago that we stopped to put the sails up, and we haven't done too bad. We've got everything up except the flying jib. We did have one little problem with the jib. I got the halyard on the wrong side. Should have checked that before I started hauling it up, but it only took a few minutes to sort it out. Not enough wind at the moment, but it is coming, so we're ready for it when it comes. Main up, mizzen up, and that's all looking good. The reefing system works. You can see I jury rigged this. I showed you, I think, doing that in Milford Haven. That's for the reefing lines that haul the clue down so that they don't foul on this clutter on top of the wheelhouse. The other option is, and I think I'm going to do it anyway, even as a boot and braces, is to put sort of little metal hoops over here so that the ropes go over them. I think I'll do that anyway, because there's always a risk that those topping the lazy jacks, which are loose now, there's always a chance one of those would catch anyway. So that's a little job for the future, to get some wire. It shouldn't take too long, a bit of wire over them, you know. So yeah, just to tidy up. That's not too bad actually. Quite pleased with that. Quite pleased with, you know, how it all went. So that's good. We just need to start moving now. Let's have a look. Well, good morning everybody. Randy's doing the deck. We are at the Skerries. I'll show you that on a map. And the fog has just lifted. It's midday. It's been around all morning and it's stopped us progressing, which is quite nice actually. We're quite happy about that because this is a lovely place. This is a lovely little bay. There's a little harbour over there which dries out, which is why we're out here on anchor. And then there's a series of little islands over there. And it's a glorious day. You see there's barely any wind. I've already been up the mast and done some maintenance this morning. And as I say, Renda's doing the decks, but we're going to have a day off. We've been debating whether to get Lily off and go ashore, but to be honest with you, we've got jobs to do here and it's now midday. We couldn't make the decision anyway until midday. That's when we cancelled our further plans. And now we'll be going early in the morning because we want to sail up to Kilkeel, which is, by the way, in Northern Ireland. We're in the Republic of Ireland at the moment, so we'll be crossing the border soon into Northern Ireland. And I spoke to the harbour master this morning at Kilkeel, and she sounded fantastic, really very friendly, and said yep, that'll make room for us. So we'll be going in there on our way to Strangford Lock. So isn't that lovely? Very nice. Okay, we're there, we're coming up now. It's 20th of June, and Randy and I, well, you can see we're all sweaty because we've just put up all our sails. It doesn't actually take us that long, but we work hard at it, so I think we had them all up in, well, certainly under 20 minutes. The whole lot up. Well, it's not all up actually, we've got a flying jib and 2 topsails, but the main stuff is up. So that's all working out nicely. Obviously we're getting better and better every time we do it. And we're on our way to Kilkeel fishing harbour, an old, very old fishing harbour, a very important one in Northern Ireland. So we're going from the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland now. As we get further out, the wind is forecast to pick up. So anyway, no, we'll go to Kilkeel, and then the weather's turning a bit funny at the weekend, so we may spend a few days there, which would be nice actually to have a little look around. And then we're on up to where we're going, Strangford Lock, have a little mess about there, and then over to Scotland, probably direct from there. We'll see, not quite sure. We're making it up as we go along, but I thought you'd just like to see that. That's the state of play. Our auto helm is on. We're, by the way, trying to think of a name for our auto helm, so if anyone's got any ideas, because that's a very valuable member of the crew. It's got to be a woman, by the way. Remember the boat, Josephine's got to have a woman companion. She can only have one male companion, and that's me. And there's the main up, mizzen, and our 2 head sails. And I'm going to try and knock him back the power in a minute and see if we can sail a bit of this. So bring you back later on. We're going to have a cup of coffee and just relax for a bit. Isn't that lovely? There you go. That's just a rock in the middle of the sea. A lighthouse on it so people don't bump into it. Here we are again. It's just gone 2 o'clock, just had lunch. We're ahead of time now because the wind's picked up, as you can see. I'll just get out of the wind so that you don't see in here. Yeah, we're doing between, what are we, 4.7 at the moment, up to 5.5 knots. So we've got some good wind at the moment. It comes and goes. You can see we're getting close to the land over there, you can see. But Josephine nicely rolled, listing to port. There we go. No engine, of course. That lovely big sail full of air, look. Let's make sure there's no chafing going on this side. Just slightly touching the shrouds, we have to be careful of that. And we've got some seagulls playing with us. Yeah, lovely. Absolutely lovely. So yeah, we're delighted. I'm actually going to have to slow down. We need some time to get the sails down, I suppose. I suppose we could dawdle and take an hour to do that. The reason for that is Kilkeel is quite shallow. I think there's only about 1 metre of water in there at low water, so we can only go in at high water or near high water. I'm going to try and go in at around about 7 o'clock. I think high water is 7:50 or something like that. I'll call the harbour master when we get a little bit closer, but there should be enough water at 7 o'clock for us to get in. That's one of the Stena lines coming back, I think. Yeah, you too, Adam. You look great. You going to Dublin? Yeah. Maybe. Good evening, everybody. It's Friday, 20th of June, and we've just arrived in Kilkeel Harbour. Yeah. So that's going to sit in the mud in a minute, and then we're going to keep going down. So we're going to keep our springs nice and loose. And the entrance is just there between the Northern Venture. You have to turn right. When you get to that boat there, the blue one, Northern Venture, you turn right round the back of this one, Northern Star. It is as tight as anything, and then there's another few fishing boats around the corner. It's a hell of a place to get into. You wouldn't want to do it in any windy conditions. So this is a hell of a tight place. This is Northern Ireland's most busy fishing port, and it has been for a very long time, and it still is. And I think Josefine's right at home in here. Ex-fishing boat herself. I think she's right at home. So we're just going to go out and have a beer and then something to eat. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday the 22nd of June, and Rennie and I, and Josefine of course, are in Strangford Lock. We arrived here late yesterday afternoon. We're not far from the entrance, which is a place called the Narrows. I'm bringing you this from inside the wheelhouse because it's quite breezy outside. I'm going to go outside now and film, but I just wanted to introduce this. We've never been here before, of course, so we don't really know the lock yet. I'm really looking forward to getting Lily off, for exploring, because there's lots of shallows around here, so we can really get to know the lock with Lily. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be so much fun sailing and her in here. So let's step outside and have a look. Oh, wind's gone down on this side, so good opportunity. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? I can't
tell you what all these places are, what they're called, because I don't know yet. But I will do. We're going to stay here probably for a week, and by the end of the week I should know some of these places, and I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about them. The entrance is over there. You can see that. That's called Portaferry. That bit I do know. Strangford Lough has all sorts of little islands. You can see that little island there, look, in the middle of nowhere. Well, in the middle of the loch, I mean. Pretty little places. Another little island there that we're just anchored near. And look at those mountains in the distance there. Isn't it beautiful? Fantastic place. Love it. And of course it's well sheltered. So even though it's a bit of a breezy day today, all we've got is a light rippling on the water. Lovely day. I've been up already this morning and tidied up the deck a bit. You know, you can have a lot of fun in a dinghy here. What I'm going to do is quarter the place. I'll pick areas and probably make some hand-drawn charts that I can carry in Lily. So we're going to have a bit of fun here. Hopefully it's going to be a great week. The weather's not great, which is one of the reasons we're going to hold up here for a week. And to be honest, we need it. We're both quite tired because it's you know, we've travelled quite rapidly from Milford Haven. Well, quite rapidly from Gloucester really to here. I think we've been going now for about 4 weeks, possibly 5, although we spent some time in Purton at the end of the canal before we set off. So effectively 4 weeks, and we've shot across the Irish Sea to Ireland and all up the east coast. So it's time to have a bit of a rest, to be honest with you, and get in a little bit of dinghy sailing, which is going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to bringing you that. On the passage up here, by the way, yesterday from Kilkeel, it was quite uncomfortable, to be honest with you, especially as closer we got to here. The entrance to Strangford Lough, you have to be very precise about your arrival at the entrance. You can't begin to enter the loch until high water. That's the advice, and that's because on the ebb, the water that flows out of here meets the water in the Irish Sea going in a completely different direction, and it creates huge overfalls. They're actually described as dangerous, which is something that is, you know, the pilot books don't normally over exaggerate these things, and we discovered that yesterday. We arrived about 2 hours too early. We had to do that because we couldn't get out. Kilkeel, where we were moored last night, the night before last I should say, is very shallow, and we could only leave right at the top of the tide, which meant we had to come out then, which meant we got here naturally too early. I tried to slow down, but the tides were running so fast, and so we had to do a little bit of circling in really swelly water. So we had an issue we've had once before, actually coming over from Milford Haven, and that's the boom jumping out of the gallows. They're actually quite shallow, and what had happened is the reefing lines had got underneath, making it even more shallow, and even though I had it tied down, it popped out quite a number of occasions. As we rolled violently, it jumped out even though it was tied down. It makes a hell of a racket inside the boat, and it's most disconcerting. So I'm going to put today or tomorrow, I'm going to put a couple of brackets either side and put a strap over the top to strap it down, because that's not the first time it's done it, and it's a big boom there. It weighs a ton, you know, it's a huge amount of weight on there, and when you're inside and you're being rolled violently from side to side, and that thing is jumping out, crashing down on top of the wheelhouse, it doesn't help the nerves, I can tell you. So and we need to sort that out. Everything else worked absolutely brilliantly. I mean, I'm overjoyed with Josephine's seaworthiness. It's been really wonderful because we've spent so many years restoring and rebuilding her, and you know, I get a real sense of her as a working boat now for the very first time. When I was clearing up the deck this morning and tidying away things, there was a sort of a sort of bubbling of joy really, her being a sort of living a living, working beast, if you like. Sorry, I didn't mean a beast, Josephine. Doing what we always wanted to do with her. The reason we bought her. Remember, we didn't buy her as a project, so I didn't expect to spend the last 10 years not sailing her. So this has been a long time coming. And, oh, it's so wonderful. I mean, especially now that we've sorted out a lot of the little problems that we had, especially this winter. That oil leak, I checked again this morning, and I finally can say we cracked that one. So I did worry about whether she would make a truly good sailing boat or whether she was just going to be a motor sailor, which was sort of more likely, really, I suppose. And I was really hoping that she'd be a proper sailor, because that's really what we want. We want to do as little motoring as possible, and she was just brilliant. In 10 knots of wind, which is not an awful lot, she sailed along beautifully, absolutely beautiful. 5 knots, no problems at all, which is all we could really ask for. I mean, it'll be nice on days when the wind picks up a bit, 15-20 knots. I can see her really smoking along, it should be good fun. But to be honest with you, at our age, we just want a nice, peaceful, happy life. And easy to handle, didn't need steering at all. Once you got her set on course, she stayed on course. Nice passing through the water, nowhere near as much roll and pitch as she is under power. She was just that's great. And of course, no engine noise. Randy and I could sit on the deck and just enjoy it, and yeah, just absolutely brilliant. So that's in the last 3 days we've done our very first 2 passages just under sail. After all these years, we've had to wait this long, and it's all happened in the last 3 days, so I'm really excited. Tired as hell now, and I'm going to take the day off and then start a bit of exploration tomorrow. We've got certain things to do. We've got to sort the phone out. We seem to have run out of credit on our phone, so we've got no contact with anybody today, with any marinas or anywhere to get water, so that's got to be sorted out. And sort the water out, find somewhere with a supermarket, I suppose, which we'll need to do by the end of the week. We may go from here, just toying with the idea of going from here to the Isle of Man rather than continuing up the coast. We were going to go up to Belfast, but there are some problems in Belfast at the moment, a few riots and things, unusually. I don't suppose it would really affect us, but I think we may go over to the Isle of Man and then over to Barrow and then up to Scotland that way. I don't know, we'll see. But we're not really thinking about that yet. We'll start thinking about that towards the end of the week. Just going to enjoy this, really. This is a typical British blustery day.